Right now, as you sit there thinking about everything you need to study, there is a quiet battle happening inside your mind, a battle between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. And the truth is that procrastination is not laziness, it is not a lack of intelligence, and it is definitely not a permanent flaw. It is a psychological response, a coping mechanism your brain uses to avoid discomfort, uncertainty, and pressure, especially during exam season when expectations feel heavier than ever before. And the more you delay, the more that pressure builds, creating a loop that feels impossible to escape. Because every time you choose comfort over action, your brain rewards you with temporary relief, reinforcing the habit until it becomes automatic. But here is what most people never realize. Procrastination is not about time management. It is about emotional management. It is about how you respond when things feel overwhelming, confusing, or even boring, and your mind starts whispering excuses that sound logical but are actually traps, telling you that you will start later, that you need to feel ready first, that you work better under pressure, and before you know it, hours turn into days, and days turn into regret, and that regret slowly chips away at your confidence, making the next task feel even harder to begin. But there is a deeper layer to this, something hidden beneath the surface, because procrastination often comes from fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, or even fear of success and the responsibility that comes with it. And instead of facing those fears directly, the mind distracts itself with easier, more comfortable activities, giving you the illusion of control while silently taking it away from you. And this is why simply telling yourself to just focus or try harder never works. Because you are not addressing the root cause, you are only fighting the symptoms. And that is like trying to stop a storm by closing your eyes. It does nothing to change what is actually happening. So the first step, the most important step, is awareness. Understanding that your procrastination is not your enemy, but a signal, a message from your mind telling you that something deeper needs attention. And once you begin to see it this way, something powerful happens, because instead of judging yourself, you start observing yourself. You start noticing the patterns, the triggers, the exact moments when you choose delay over action. And in that moment of awareness, you create a small but critical space, a space where change becomes possible. Because you are no longer reacting automatically, you are choosing consciously. And that choice, even if it feels small, is the beginning of discipline, the beginning of taking your power back. And just when you begin to understand this pattern, something unexpected happens, because awareness alone does not break the cycle, it only exposes it. And now you are faced with a deeper challenge, the moment when you actually have to act despite the discomfort. Because this is where most people fall back into old habits, not because they are weak, but because the brain is wired to protect you from effort and uncertainty. And when you try to change, it pushes back harder than ever before, creating resistance that feels almost physical, like a weight pulling you away from your goals. And this is the turning point, the moment where your future begins to take shape based on the decisions you make right now. Because every time you choose action over delay, you are literally rewiring your brain, building a new identity, one small step at a time. And the key is not to wait for motivation, because motivation is unreliable and temporary. It comes and goes like waves, but discipline is built in moments when you do not feel like doing the work, and you do it anyway. So instead of trying to study for hours and overwhelming yourself, you start with something almost too small to fail, opening Why? Our book for 5 minutes, reviewing one concept, writing down one idea, because starting is the hardest part. And once you begin, momentum starts to build naturally. And this is not just a theory, it is how the brain reduces resistance, by proving to itself that the task is not as painful as it imagined. But here is where the suspense deepens, because there will be a moment, maybe later today or tomorrow, when everything inside you will tell you to stop, to scroll your phone, to take a break that never ends, to tell yourself that you will catch up later. And in that moment, it will feel harmless, even justified, but that single decision carries more weight than you realize, because it either strengthens the old habit or reinforces the new one you are trying to build. And this is why consistency matters more than intensity, because success during exam season is not about one perfect day of studying. It is about showing up again and again, even when it feels boring, even when progress feels slow. And to make this easier, removing distractions before they remove your attention, putting your phone away, creating a clean and simple. Putting your phone away, creating a clean and simple. E-study space, setting clear and realistic goals for each session. Because willpower alone is not enough. You need systems that guide your behavior. And as you begin to apply these methods, something shifts inside you. A quiet confidence starts to grow. Because you are no longer controlled by your impulses, you are directing them, and that shift is powerful, but the real test is still ahead. And now you arrive at the final and most defining stage of this journey, the moment where discipline is no longer something you force, but something you become. Because the truth is that consistency under pressure is not built in a single breakthrough. It is built through repetition, through the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching, when there is no immediate reward, and when the outcome still feels uncertain. And this is where most people either rise or fall. Because as exams get closer, the pressure intensifies, the fear becomes louder, and the temptation to return to old habits grows stronger. But what separates those who succeed from those who struggle is not talent or intelligence. It is their ability to stay steady in the middle of that pressure, to keep moving forward even when progress feels invisible, because real growth often happens beneath the surface, long before it shows in results. And if you can trust that process, if you can continue putting in the effort without constantly needing validation, you begin to develop something far more valuable than motivation. You develop resilience, and resilience is what carries you through the toughest moments. It is wicked. Hat keeps you focused when distractions call your name. It is what allows you to sit down and study even when your mind is restless and your energy is low. And to strengthen that resilience, you must learn to manage your energy as much as your time, giving yourself proper rest, maintaining a healthy routine, and understanding that burnout is not a badge of honor, but a signal that you are pushing without balance, because sustainable discipline comes from alignment, not exhaustion. And as you continue this path, you start to notice a transformation, not just in your study habits, but in your mindset, because you are no longer avoiding challenges, you are facing them directly. You are no longer waiting for the perfect moment, you are creating it through action. And that is where true confidence is born, not from thinking about success, but from proving to yourself, day after day, that you can do what you once avoided. And eventually, the fear that once held you back begins to lose its power, replaced by a sense of control and clarity that guides you forward. And when exam day finally arrives, you are not overwhelmed, you are prepared, not just because of what you studied, but because of who you became in the process. Someone who acts despite discomfort, someone who stays consistent despite pressure, someone who understands that success is not a single moment, but a series of intentional choices made over time. And that realization changes everything, because it does not end with exams. It carries into every area of your life, shaping your future in ways you cannot yet fully see. And as you take that next step forward, remember this: the power to overcome procrastination has always been within you, waiting for you to claim it. And if you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.